Hey, beautiful souls, welcome to the first episode of Ashes to Orchids, the podcast where we talk about turning pain into purpose, trauma into transformation, and heartbreak into healing. I am so grateful you're here today because we are diving into something that affects so many people yet often goes unspoken: narcissistic abuse and the emotional damage it leaves behind. On this episode, it's going to be real, it's going to be raw, and it might be a little heavy at times, but my hope is that it brings clarity, awareness, and healing. Because here's the truth: emotional abuse doesn't always leave bruises. Sometimes the most dangerous scars are the ones that no one can see, because they live in your mind, body, and spirit, destroying your sense of self. So, what exactly is narcissistic abuse? It's not just selfish behavior, it's a cycle of manipulation, gaslighting, control, and emotional withdrawal. It's the charm that draws you in, the confusion that keeps you stuck, and the slow erosion of your confidence, identity, and intuition. And if you've ever found yourself constantly apologizing, doubting your own memory, walking on eggshells, or feeling like you lost yourself in a relationship, you're not crazy, you are not weak, and you are definitely not alone. I'm not speaking on this as a therapist or a psychologist. I'm speaking as a woman who's lived it, who loved someone that slowly made me question my own reality, who tried to fix, explain, shrink, and sacrifice until there was barely anything left of me. But I got out, and if you're listening today, maybe you're in the thick of it, maybe you're freshly out, or maybe you're years into your healing and still picking up the pieces. No matter where you are welcome here. In this episode, we're going to break it down: what narcissistic abuse actually looks and feels like, why is it so hard to recognize, let alone leave, how to begin reclaiming your voice, your peace, and your power. This isn't about pointing fingers or diagnosing people. It's about truth, it's about healing, and it's about finally saying out loud, that wasn't love, that was manipulation. Before we dive in, I just want to give a gentle content warning. We'll be talking about emotional trauma and psychological abuse, which may be triggering for some. So please take care of yourself as you listen. Pause, breathe, or come back later if you need to. All right, let's begin. So my first guest on the show today is Samantha, who is such an amazing woman, and I'm so honored to call her my best friend and have her on my show today. Sammy, thank you so much for taking time to speak your truth, and I just want to say how much I admire your bravery for coming forward. We're going to kick this off with you telling us a little bit about yourself, and then I can ask you some questions in relation to your experience on today's topic. So go ahead and give us a little rundown of everything about you.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me on the show, and you're my best friend too, and I love you.
I love you.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and I'm 34 years old. I was born and raised in California, Running Springs, but I moved to Minot, North Dakota about 7 years ago. I have 5-year-old twin boys who are starting kindergarten this year, and I'm about 5 years sober, and I've gone through 7 surgeries on my nose in the last 4 years. So those are my interesting facts.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions here. We'll kick it off. So the first question I have is, what exactly is narcissistic abuse, and how is it different from typical relationship conflict?
Okay, well, both abuses can include emotional and physical harm. I think narcissistic abuse is more so manipulative and controlling. They have manipulated you internally into what they think of you and making you think of what they think of you, or your self-worth and respect slowly evaporate. I think it's just a little different. It's more controlling and manipulative, and regular abuse is like usually just physical or mental.
Absolutely. Yes. And how can someone identify if their ex was a narcissist versus just toxic or emotionally immature?
Well, there's a lot of signs, luckily. So if you date a narcissist, recall to their self-importance and the lack of yours, having to show admiration and or attention while recovering or receiving little to none. Did they have any empathy? Were they arrogant and rude to others, their family or strangers? Did they take advantage of you and other people? Their sensitivity to healthy advice or criticism or conversations. If they were not having it, that's obviously a sign. If they don't want any criticism about themselves, they don't want to have healthy conversations, or just making you blame yourself all the time. There's a lot of signs or things that I've been through personally.
Yes. And I'm sorry that you've been through that. I know that that can be difficult.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely talk about, just kind of the breakdown to help other women as well on how to spot those signs and try to prevent them for others, because I know that we've been through that experience. So that's definitely what
Yeah,
we want to do, is be able to help them.
right.
So what are some of the most common red flags people miss early on in these relationships, would you say?
Um, Probably just like slowly pushing people away around you, slowly gaining more and more control over you over an amount of time. Um, Little anger issues, I would say, or yeah, those I think that no, I know there's more. I'm just trying to think of everything.
Oh no, yeah.
Um,
Um, can you share a moment that made you realize something was deeply wrong in the relationship?
well, the first red flag I ever had was with my twins' dad. We weren't dating very long when I found out that I was pregnant, and we didn't really know each other, and he instantly wanted me to have the kids and move in with him, which I thought was so weird because I didn't really know him. It wasn't supposed to be anything serious, so that was a big red flag to me because he just wanted to. He told me he loved me right then and there, which was so weird, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they tend to do the love bombing in the beginning,
Oh
and
yeah, absolutely.
just, you fall hard in in the early on. I think it's something that moves a little fast, and
Oh yeah.
that can be an issue. Um, what tactics did they use? Gaslighting, love bombing, or silent treatment? What are those that you experienced with your ex?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, the beginning love bombing for sure, but it immediately switched on me like as soon as I moved in and he got a little bit more comfortable. Gaslighting, yeah, he constantly gaslit me, blatantly lied to my face, called me crazy, eliminated and ignored my feelings, said that I'm crazy. He never admitted he was wrong. He found a way to blame me and be the victim every time. So,
Yeah, deflection. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. How did the emotional abuse affect your self-esteem, your decision making, or sense of reality?
Um, well, my self-esteem was non-existent, obviously. My reality was he's always right, and everything that I'm doing is causing the problems. I felt, I was scared to even ask him to like help me change a diaper, or if he could. I asked him once if he could clean up the counter because I just had my first surgery and it was really bad, and he ended up getting mad and leaving me alone with our babies. So, yeah, he never wanted to be expected of anything except for what his standards were, his priorities were.
Yeah,
So yeah, all of my whole mind was completely messed up.
yeah. I know that it takes a while to heal from that. So,
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. Did you try to leave before you actually did? And what made it so hard to walk away?
I did actually. I packed us all up when he was at work, and I went to my mom's, and I ended up coming back because I just.
Sin City Radio. Host your own podcast. Broadcast from home. Broadcast from our studios. Reach a worldwide audience. Get started today. Make your voice heard worldwide. Host your own podcast. Sin City Radio.
I don't know, when they call you and they're crying and they're threatening you, you're afraid. You don't know what they're going to do. And my biggest fear was what he would take one of my kids and run. And that night before I came home, he busted in my mom's door, grabbed Elijah, and he tried running down the stairs with him while I was hanging on to his clothing. So, I mean, the fact of him walking away with my kids was my biggest fear. So, and that's what ultimately made me go back.
Yeah.
It
And
was, yeah,
and I think that that's what makes it difficult, is a lot of people don't understand
right.
that side of it, to where they're like, well, why didn't you just leave, or why didn't you just take off with the kids or do certain things, and they don't realize the ins and outs of what the risks are, the fear that you have. So
Yeah, for
I'm
your
just
safety, for your kids'
yeah,
safety, because yeah, they poison your mind. It's really unhealthy and it's really sad.
yeah. I'm just so glad that you were finally able to get away safely.
Oh gosh,
from
me
that
too. Same for
situation.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you deal with the shame or self-blame that often comes with narcissistic abuse?
Um, Shame and self-blame. Well, I mean, I always, my kids probably went through a little trauma when they were younger, and the shame and self-blame of that, of even allowing my kids to be in an unhealthy and unsafe environment in any aspect, just it completely broke me for a while. It's embarrassing, you don't want to tell your family how awful they are because you don't want people to think that you're not being successful in life. And yeah, it was, yeah, it's, yeah.
I totally get that. I think with my ex-husband too, my mom didn't know anything that was going on until we were about to get divorced, and then she's like, I didn't know all this was going on, because they isolate you from your family. They
Right.
isolate you from everyone so that all you have is them to rely on.
Yeah.
So it is, something that I think on our healing journey we learn is you have to forgive yourself and
Yeah.
forgive others, just so that you can, let go of that shame and that judgment on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know. And I think as we go through lessons, and experiences, that's what shapes us into becoming the best version of ourselves in the end. So it's always a blessing, even if at the time it doesn't feel that way. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm very thankful for all of my bad experiences.
yeah, it's always a good, something good comes out of it.
Exactly.
What were the first steps in your healing process after your breakup?
Okay, so my first step was to prioritize my kids' safety. I went to court and made sure that I was their primary, or caretaker, or their primary residence. That was the first. My self-care was second. I really needed to work on getting my surgeries done and trying to feel myself again. Setting mental and physical boundaries, even though I'm not dating, but I wanted to put them in place for when I do start to date again, which I doubt will be anytime soon. I have really bad anxiety, depression, and PTSD, especially when I hear screaming or door closing or like slamming and things being thrown or just any loud noises really do upset me still. So I just try to breathe, and I'm still looking to get a counselor or something, but yeah, those are, I think, your best first steps is your kids' safety, your mental health, and just starting to heal slowly from what's happened.
Yeah, I think it's just coming out and stepping back into reality instead of that warped version of it that they had you stuck in when you come out of that healing process. And you're doing an amazing job. You are an amazing mother, and I just kudos to you. You have 2 twin boys, and I'm just so amazed by you and just all that you've overcame, and just how much stronger and you have been from all of it. And I just love you so much, and I'm very, very, very proud of you. How did your relationship with yourself change during recovery?
Well, it got much better. I was doing a lot of blaming at first of myself, but eventually I, had to pull myself out of that gross headspace to where thinking it was my fault. And I learned and realized who he really was, everything he was doing.
Hey everybody, my name is Mariah Storm, and I am the host of Ashes to Orchids. On my show, we talk about survivors of abuse, the different types of abuse, the corruption in the family justice system, and also love and healing. Don't miss it.
Learned about narcissistics and narcissistic people and love bombing and gaslighting and all of the things that they do to us. So yeah, it took a little while, but yeah, I feel much better now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. No, I know that it's hard, especially when they lack accountability, to be able to,
Yeah.
own up to their mistakes. Because I mean, it's important for both sides, right? I always want to say this as
Yeah.
well. It's not a matter of the blame game. We
Right.
both had to take, and even in that healing journey, I think it's important for both parties to take accountability for what they've done, and be able to heal from that, and instead of deflecting it, just because it's valid. Both sides are valid, but I just think it's always important to come to that kind of what would you have it what is it, truce?
The truth.
A
Yeah.
truce for the kids' sake, because
Yeah. Well, we have that, but we don't exactly have a friendship. We've actually never had a serious, honest conversation about our relationship. So we just stay kind of, I guess, I don't know, just normal to each other. We're not mean to each other. We're not really nice to each other. We just get along and we talk.
yeah.
And yeah, that's where we're at right now. So that's nice, actually.
That is good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes in those situations they still try to use control and the
Oh, yeah.
children as a bargaining chip to, get what they want out of the situation. So I'm really glad to hear that you guys are able to at least be civil for the
Yeah.
kids' sake and keep that, your guys' life separate from that, to where it doesn't have to still intertwine in that way, since you guys are no longer together. So
Right.
that's really good to hear. What boundaries would you say that you have now in place to protect your energy in for future relationships?
Um, well, it's really true that you never really know somebody. So, I mean, I hate to feel like rain on everybody's parade, but I don't have boundaries for dating at this time because I really am not interested in dating. But if I were to start, my mind's just not there yet.
Yeah.
But if I was, I would make sure that I seen them in their worst and their best, that I know them as well as I could think I possibly know them, and that I feel I'm treated good at, respectful enough and loved, and I'm not being lied to. Those are my boundaries. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on who this person is,
That's
and
Yeah, and that's a beautiful
yeah,
thing, because I think if we take the time to get to know somebody, and it's not rushed and
mm,
it's not forced, and you get to see them when they're angry, when they're sick, when they're, going
yeah,
through tough times, like that's when you really get to see the true colors of
mhm,
people. And I think for when we have children with someone else as well, it's really important to be able to take that time to get to know somebody, because you're bringing them into your child's life now too, and that all
yeah,
can have an effect. And that's something I've learned as well. So I
mhm,
think I love that that's your energy right now, and that's the boundaries that you have put up, and it's you deserve the best kind of love if you do decide to start dating again. Nothing short of a fairy
mhm.
tale. So I want you
Thank
to know that,
you.
because you are an amazing soul, and I love you so much. Um,
Thank you.
of course.
Thank you.
What would you say to someone who suspects they're in a relationship with a narcissist but isn't sure?
Well, I would say, are you, well, I mean, if you're with a narcissist, you're obviously going to be unhappy quite a bit of the time because they're mostly just thinking of themselves. And honestly, if you are in love with a narcissist or you're dating one, it's better to just get out when you can because eventually it's going to get worse and worse, or you're just going to realize that you're never you're never going to be as important and as loved by one as you want to be.
Yeah.
Unless you're just not looking for something serious, then I guess it doesn't matter. But if you want love and a good, healthy relationship, narcissists are just kind of not able to give that.
Yeah. No, I
So I
agree,
would
and I think
recommend.
oh, sorry. The
No, I'm
love
just saying I
bomb
would
the love
yeah,
bombing part is really hard, I think, when
yeah,
because in the beginning, you don't think that there's anything bad, right?
right. Then
But
they trick
that's
you.
yeah. Yeah. So I think something to start with is really just having self-love for yourself, so that
Yeah,
you kind of set your standards a lot higher, because then you pay attention to certain things. But I know that's not everybody's situation. That's not how it begins, because anybody, it doesn't matter where you come from, that can still be a a red flag that is missed or ignored, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
it's just always
I'm not.
important.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anybody else because I went against everybody's advice and I didn't listen and I learned the hard way. I just hopefully if I can tell somebody to get out sooner, even if they feel like this person has the potential to be amazing, you have to remember they're still a narcissist and that's always going to be part of who they are, even if they were amazing. So Yeah. It's better to save yourself the heartbreak if you can.
Yeah, especially like I know you, and you have such a good heart, and you would give your shirt off your back to someone else, and that's something that that attracts those types of personalities.
Yeah.
So it's just being careful and kind of seeing if they'll have your back the same way, right? Not throw you under the bus to save themselves.
Yes, you said it much better than I did.
Yeah. What are the biggest misconceptions about narcissistic abuse you want to clear up?
Biggest misconceptions. I don't know. How would you answer that?
So
give me an example so I can help you answer that question.
Yeah. So what are the biggest misconceptions about narcissistic abuse you want to clear up?
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
I know. That's why I was like, maybe she can help me.
It's a touchy one because I think that word has been thrown around so much that a lot of people want to tune that out, right, and disregard it because there are people out there too that maybe throw that around in not the correct ways, right? But it is a disorder.
Yeah.
A toxic trait. We're trying to figure out how to word. She's like, "What? I don't even know how to answer that." If your healing had a mantra or lesson, what would it be?
It would probably be, well, if I just were to make one up or one that's already around, mine would just be keep putting one foot in front of the other, and every morning there's going to be a sunrise.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like Dory. Keep swimming.
Yeah. Just keep swimming. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much again for sharing your story and shining light on a very serious matter that so many people can relate to. You are an inspiration to me and will be to many others out there as well. If everyone is still here with me, I also want to take a moment to honor you as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for holding space for your truth, and thank you for showing up for your healing even when it hurts a little. Narcissistic abuse can feel like a storm that no one else sees. It's invisible to the world, but devastating on the inside. And if this episode brought up emotions for you, tears, anger, relief, confusion, let them come. That's part of your nervous system finally exhaling and releasing what no longer serves you. Maybe you're realizing for the first time that what you went through wasn't normal. Maybe you're still untangling the lies, the guilt, the shame. Or maybe you're standing in your strength now, looking back and saying, never again. Wherever you are, I just want to remind you, you are not broken, you are becoming. You are not too sensitive, your feelings are valid. You are not hard to love, you were just asking the wrong person. Now you are healing, one breath, one boundary, one brave truth at a time. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. If this episode spoke to you, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need to hear these words. Leave a review, send me a message, let me know what landed for you. And if you're on this healing journey and looking for more support, I've got you. We've got more episodes coming your way, more tools, more stories, and more love. This is Ashes to Orchids with Mariah, where we rise, where we bloom, and where we remember who the hell we are. Until next time, take care of your heart, and remember, just because they couldn't love you doesn't mean you're unlovable. You're worthy, you're healing, you're coming home to yourself.